People of Earth, your planet has been destroyed.
Welcome to Conspiracy, the show, with your hosts, Adam Todd Brown and Connor McSpadden.
Hey everybody, welcome to Conspiracy the Show. I'm Adam Todd Brown.
I'm Connor McSpadden.
We're your hosts. You should already know that though.
Yeah.
Really fucking weird.
This is episode 10, gang.
Yeah. We just have someone come on and introduce us and then...
That'd be cool. I think that's what Conspiracy the Show needs, is like an Andy Richter.
Yeah. We should have a side man.
Yeah, we need just like a fat guy with a good voice.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's kind of me. So, I mean, we need a second fat guy with a good voice.
It's a good point. A little story for you guys. I was pulling up, parking out in front of the Unpops headquarters. As I walked up, there's an ambulance, and there's a guy being loaded in the ambulance. He's probably about 30 feet away from me, and got Adam's build. He's wearing a beanie, and I'm just like, fuck. Did I come? And I didn't want to go over and be insensitive. I mean, but also if it's Adam, I should go say get well soon. We'll push back to Monday recording. So I was a little concerned, and then I texted Adam. I'm like, hey, I'm here, and you know, Adam's a very punctual, professional guy. About 5 minutes, I'm waiting for the response. Just like, did Adam have a heart attack? Did a spot open up at Fastball at Chet's this Monday?
Yeah, that was a good time for me to finally be late coming down.
Yeah. But here he is in perfect health.
I'm alive.
Yeah.
That actually was me. I just recovered.
That was one of your body doubles.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's what you call a fucking segue, my friend. What are we talking about today?
Good. We should get a Segway sponsorship.
Oh, yeah, we would probably never be able to plug him because usually just like, yeah, I got a mohawk. Anyways, John Benet Ramsey's weird.
Exactly. We're talking about celebrities who aren't who they say they are.
Yes, if you ask me, that's all of them. Am I right?
Exactly.
And living in this town,
we never really see the true side.
It's real fake.
Celebrities.
Here's a fun little celebrity story. The con man, as some of you might know, owes some money to the wrong people. All right, I'm talking the government, Chase Bank, my mom a little bit. So I've been, and this is, you know, I'm a big believer in not trying to sound cooler than you are, look cooler than you are, because people will see through it, or if you get caught, it's just more embarrassing. So the con man's been driving a little Postmates in his free time, and I was headlining a comedy club in Arizona. You think that's a pretty good place to be in stand-up? I'm like, okay, got my name out on the electronic marquee outside. I got, you know, just closing out the shows, doing my hour set, you know, just signing autographs, taking pictures with people afterward. Not autographs, a couple pictures.
Sure.
But after the show, I'm in Scottsdale, Arizona. I'm like, ooh, look at this blitz pricing. You know, I'm not super sleepy before I go back to my Airbnb. Why not go double down? Just make this a big money weekend. So I go out delivering some food to some drunk bros in Arizona. I get one order to a hotel room. Walk upstairs with 2 pizzas and a couple cans of Coke. Who opens the door but Chris D'Elia, a person that I was on television with 8 months ago. If you go back and check out the Roast Battle preliminaries for Los Angeles Part 2, you'll see me talking to Chris D'Elia on TV. He was judging me. A guy that I opened for him at the Improv a couple years ago for a whole weekend. You know, we're not friends or anything. I'm not going to claim that. I think if he saw me out at a comedy club, he might give me a nod. I think if he saw me at Whole Foods, he might say hi. Can we talk for a second? You know, by no means am I pretending to be close, but he opens the door and he's like, dude, what the fuck? And I'm like, what the fuck? And he's like, wait, so do you live out here? And I was like, no, I'm headlining a shittier club than you are down the street. And he's like, oh, okay, what do you? And I'm like, I got credit card debt, man. I don't know. Enjoy your pizza. And yeah, it was just so fucking funny.
Oh, that's fucking embarrassing.
Yeah. No, it was pretty brutal.
But that's LA. We talk about that on the podcasts a lot, where people are like, I feel like people even see us as kind of minor celebrities, and it's like, man, most of us have day jobs.
Oh yeah. No, one more quick story about
struggle.
that. Yeah. Well, first of all, Chris D'Elia is a nice guy, and he gave me a very nice tip, so that was cool. But I was doing casinos out this weekend in New Mexico, and a Mean Boys fan brought us like a gift bag. And I was just sitting at a slot machine waiting for my girlfriend to get out of the bathroom so we can go back to the hotel. And I'm sitting on the slot machine. She goes, hey, enjoyed your show. This is for you. And I was like, oh, thanks. And then she just walks away and she just like leaves this purple gift bag. And I start looking through it and I'm realizing like there's like little cards addressed to us with like Mean Boys references. And like she left before I could even say anything. And I was like, how antisocial are the Mean Boys fans? Like where they're like, you know.
Fucking chuck a bag at you when they're walking past.
Yeah. And I was like, is there a bomb in here? Is this anthrax? Okay, Hello Kitty stickers. That's nice.
So Yeah, celebrities who aren't who they say they are.
Yeah.
Like secret Postmates driver Connor McSpadden.
It's not a secret, baby. All right.
Let's talk about the Beatles first. This is a really famous one. There's an entire goddamn website about this idea that the Beatles never existed.
I've been fully familiar with this one for a while. Me and my friends, when we were, and I was just an Ontario loser, just eating Little Caesars pizza every day and playing Halo Reach on the internet. We used to just watch bad documentaries. There's a great one about Bill Withers called Still Bill. Where someone is just like, oh man, I got Bill Withers to do his first like public thing in years, and then they make in this documentary and they realize that he's the most boring man that ever lived and has no desire to get back into the music industry or be famous at all. But there's one called Paul Really Is Dead, and the framing device for it is that they have these secret audio cassette tapes by George Harris. He's like, Paul's dead. Ooh, I hope I don't get murdered. I have cancer. And so we used to watch that. And the second girl I ever had sex with, I showed her Paul McCartney Really Is Dead, and then we hooked up. So I've always got a soft spot in my heart for this.
It always works.
For helping a teenage Connor, get some numbers on the board.
Yeah, it's weird. These conspiracy theorists claim that the Beatles in general were never just four men, but they were sets of multiple people.
Yeah.
And
that's when at EMI was like, we're making too much money. We need some backups.
Right. In case Paul dies.
Wait, this is my Ringo Starr impression. I played the drums. They let me be in the Beatles. Now, what if Ringo Starr and Bill Clinton met? You remember? Got a lot of props in my Bill Clinton impression last week.
Exactly. Yeah.
Strawberry fields forever, Ringo. Okay.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
This is a quote from their website. We began researching this in 2011. Consider it to be a serious subject, not a joke, and this site is here to expose the actions of those who exploited these young men in whatever form they actually appeared to us and defrauded us, their fans.
Let me translate that. This site is here to opportunistically exploit the Google AdSense clicks of people that like the Beatles and make their families uncomfortable, even after they've given the world some of the most beautiful music ever made.
Yeah, especially with them starting this in 2011.
Yeah.
That's a little bit behind the curve.
Some of this shit was around in the 80s, but we'll get into that.
Yeah. They claim to have thousands of hours of evidence, but it all just kind of focuses on Paul McCartney, it seems like, when you start going through their website.
Well, you notice this a lot just before we get started with the famous people. It's just like, as you get more money, I don't even think it's necessarily a plastic surgery thing. I think you're just able to take care of yourself more. Like, you notice a lot of celebrities get hotter over time, Yeah. And it's just because, like, okay, well, they don't have to, wake up at 6 a.m. and drive to Winnemucca, Nevada to make $150 anymore. Like, Whitney Cummings can sleep in and buy a nice face mask and blah, blah, blah. Like, it's just having the kind of resources and like the people around you. Like, you've got people that are really hired to make you look better. I mean, Paul McCartney playing pubs in Liverpool is going to look a little different than Paul McCartney, trillionaire, like
exactly
sitting around the Apple Music studios.
Yeah. And it's, they're, the reasoning they put behind this is that basically the reasoning any celebrity would use is that they, like you said, wanted kind of body doubles, but there's also this theory that Paul McCartney died at one point.
Yeah. Well, this is based off of a real car accident that he was in.
Right. It's based off a car accident that happened in 1965. I
think so. I think it was
believe.
fairly early on.
And a rumor started about it almost right away that Paul had died. And a couple
months... It was on like Tiger Beat or some shit like that, yeah.
And a couple months later, the Beatles official fanzine addressed the rumor and said, no, Paul's not dead. And it kind of marinated for a year or two. And then, it was January 1967 was when the traffic accident was supposed to have happened.
Mm-hmm.
And this conspiracy theory was actually started by a kid writing for Drake University's newspaper, which is just a fucking college in Iowa.
Yeah.
Which gives you an idea of how news worked back then.
So Drake University newspaper thought nothing was the same. Lean to camera for audio medium.
And yeah, he writes this article
more like Aubrey wrote. Okay.
called Paul, or Is Paul Dead? And this article gets just picked up all over the fucking place as if it's actual news.
Yeah.
And then there's a second article written by another college newspaper a couple months later where the guy was kind of making fun of this whole Paul is dead theory.
Yeah.
And he included all these clues from Beatles songs and albums that he was making up. And that, to this day, is what people still cite as the evidence that Paul is dead.
It's so weird that sometimes you'll have something that's satirical and then it ends up being the basis for this like thing that just gets out of hand. And by the way, interesting fact that I actually looked into, the man who first wrote that Drake University article, his name, Perez Hilton the First.
Just scribbled on pictures.
Yeah. He just drew jizz on Paul McCartney.
Man, I had an article once that got linked on PerezHilton.com.
Congratulations.
Jesus Christ. It got like 40 million views.
It's so fucking weird. Yeah.
Yeah, that's an exaggeration, but it was
it
like
probably
4 to
was
5 million.
Probably was one of your least favorite articles too, right?
I didn't even write it. It was just a website that I was working for. It was about Jason Biggs' wife getting him a prostitute for his 35th birthday, I think.
Okay.
Jenny Mollen. She has like a TV show now, and she wrote a bunch of books.
It's interesting how that works because I'll do all these podcasts. You put a lot of work into this one. I put a lot of work into Meme Boys, all this shit that you just pour hours into, and then I made a meme of Obama about bartenders that's been on like fucking George Takei's Facebook, Fat Jew, Fuck Jerry, all World Star Hip Hop recently picked it up when I had to do the whitest thing you could possibly do, which is send a sternly worded email to World Star Hip Hop asking them to credit your joke. And I'm like, this is it. Just on Imager alone from the initial Reddit post has over 1 million views. It's been shared by all these major outlets. I'm sure that Obama himself may have very well seen this, and I'm like, this is my legacy to the world. This is the thing that I did. That fucking
well, I think the most viewed video I've ever been on is probably that Burn Booth episode we did.
Oh,
Santa
yeah.
That's got like 1 million views now or some shit.
Yeah. I don't know how much we want to blow up a spot, but a friend of ours shared it on one of his big fancy Facebook, content aggregators, and it's just like, just all of a sudden had like 700,000 views in a day.
Yeah, it's nuts. And now I will forever be the Burn Booth guy to every person who's seen that video.
Welcome to my world. Oh, hey, you're the roasty dude? I'm like, well, I also have other nuances to, but yeah. Call me gay in a creative way. Okay.
So let's talk about some of the evidence this website uses to prove that Paul has been replaced by an imposter.
It's funny, all the evidence, it just looks like, those are 4 pictures of aggressively the same person.
Yeah, those are 4, especially the first set of photos, and you can find all these at thebeatlesneverexisted.com. The first set of photos are Paul from 1961 to 63, when he would have been, in his teens? Maybe.
I was only 16.
Early 20s. So these are pictures of a dude aging.
They black-bagged me outside the pub and said they'd make me a star. Took pictures of my tallywhacker. I don't know what the English word is for it.
And there's all of these like pictures of, his height is fluctuating. The motherfuckers wore boots.
Yeah.
The Beatles wore boots all the goddamn
They wore a lot
time.
of crazy shit. There's also a little something called forced perspective.
Yes.
That you can use with cameras. Ooh.
Yeah, on the 9/11 episode last week, there was that video where it does actually look like the plane's wing disappears behind a building, and you're like, what the fuck is that?
And then you're like, it's behind the building.
It's just perspective.
You're bad at reading maps.
And these are such minor differences. They're like his nose.
Yeah, because he's making an aggressively different face. I don't know if you know, the skin is elastic. Cartilage bends. When you emote, you look differently. It's like, wait, now look at this picture of smiling Ronald Reagan, and here's frowning Reagan. Now you tell me that ain't a fucking clown. All right, that is a Puerto Rican boy that was fed a diet of racism and Angus beef until they could create a new president.
There's even a picture that says something embedded in the skin, because there's one photo where there looks like a little bump might be inside his ear.
Yeah, a photo taken in black and white, developed.
He could have had a zit. That could
Developed by a guy
anything.
that was hopped up on diet pills at the photo mat for the BBC.
Yeah, it's a really fucking crazy theory. And there's There's a ton of pictures. Like we said, the Beatles never existed.com.
I obviously I like the Beatles more than their individual solo work. Probably like most people, but
yeah.
you can't Paul McCartney still had bars in his later days. I mean, some of that Wing shit holds up. I even like that song he did on that 2009 album about dancing and shit. I fucking love Paul McCartney. He did a song with Kanye called Only One. In the most Kanye move of all time, he doesn't let him sing backup vocals. He just plays the organ, and it's a fucking beautiful song. To listen to that song, and I'm like, if I had a kid, I'd be crying right now. He's still fucking yeah. You can't really counterfeit genius to that level, I don't think.
Yeah, it would be really hard to recreate that solo career.
If it's like Britney Spears music and stuff, and I'm like, but okay, some of the the change up on Jet and shit. It's like you don't come up with that if you're just a dude in a Casio doing cocaine that's selling hits for $1 million a pop.
Right. And before we move on, let's go through some of the clues.
Oh, my favorite. Just a quick story about that documentary. They say the guy that was like the agent that was responsible for this was a guy named Maxwell, and then Maxwell used to, and we'd hide clues for the fans so that they would know the truth. And they didn't even fucking bring up in this whole documentary. I was waiting for it because I was like, well, they named him Maxwell so they could cite Maxwell's silver hammer.
Right.
Never addressed.
Never mentioned.
And I was like, you. Dildos.
Yeah, that's stupid. Here are some of the clues that convince people Paul McCartney is dead. In the song Taxman, George Harrison says, my advice for those who die.
Well, it's funny when you listen to that song, you're like, George Harrison, kind of a libertarian.
Yeah, exactly.
George Harrison endorses Gary Johnson has a lot of good ideas. The flat tax, I mean, it might be the biggest entitlement program, but it would help the economy.
The entire Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band album was awash with Paul is dead clues. The Beatles had formed a new band featuring fictional member named Billy Shears, supposedly the name of Paul's replacement.
That one seemed a bit on the nose, but we slipped it past Maxwell.
The album contained John Lennon's A Day in the Life, which had the lyrics, he blew his mind out in a car, and the recorded phrase, Paul is dead, miss him, miss him.
Get it yet?
When Revolution No. 9 is played backwards, you can supposedly hear, turn me on, dead man. And this is said to be proof that Paul really is dead.
Now that one I can explain. Ringo's a necrophiliac.
The words I buried Paul are spoken by McCartney's bandmate John Lennon in the final section of the song Strawberry Fields Forever. Lennon later explained that the words were actually cranberry sauce.
Paul was Ringo's name for his penis, and he was fucking a dead person. He buried Paul in his dead pussy. The Beatles voices it's so easy to do. It's so much fun.
Yeah. So that's just some of the clues.
Well, yeah, and it's like
that can help you unlock that theory.
If you play anything backwards, you can hear what you want to hear. If you play Conspiracy the Show backwards, you'll probably well, Connor finally admits he's actually bisexual, and Brian Moses was right,
Exactly. This next one is right along the same lines as the Paul McCartney theory, and it's that Eminem died in 2005 and was replaced by an imposter.
I'm beginning to feel like a cyborg.
What I love about this theory is it all centers around him having a major car accident, but then he comes out of this major car accident with his facial features altered a little bit, and people are like, see, it's a different guy. Maybe he just had to have his face fixed.
Yeah, I'd like to direct you to one Mr. Mark Hamill.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, my uncle had a car accident. My family's like, oh yeah, there's a picture of Jeff before the accident. You look different. It alters your fucking facial structure.
Yeah, even if you don't have to have reconstructive surgery, your face might heal different.
Well, yeah, and there's a thing there's a little thing called cocaine, and celebrities do that, and then they drive cars that go way too fast for them to handle. I mean, this guy's taking pictures in the recording studio all day. He's not out on the track doing laps, making sure he can handle his Lamborghini Aventador, so they fucking get in car crashes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, when Dr. Dre crashed his car during the I Need a Doctor music video from the first time he tried to after that, his fucking songwriting output really... Shut up. Anyway.
Yeah, this is... what people say is he died in 2005, and that's why he went away for 4 years and then came back. This is a quote from one of the websites or articles. The lowdownzero.blogspot.co.uk. So you know it's a reputable site. The real Eminem died years ago.
Here's a quick fun one. I saw there's a comedian that was selling merch, and he had his website on his t-shirts. It was a Blogspot address, and I was like, "You paid like $200 to get these screen printed. You couldn't fucking get a domain on GoDaddy for $12."
No shit.
Yeah.
It's like $5 a year to get a domain name.
I think his name was Unleaded Supreme, which is just awesome.
I want one of those shirts.
Oh, I'll look
for sure.
I got to go to the Mission Bay thrift store and see if I can pick one up.
This is a quote from that website. The new Eminem, quote, is a total sellout, homosexual, Satanist type of scumbag with no redeeming value as a person.
This is a Mean Boys iTunes review. I don't know how this guy...
You know, like the rest of the stars nowadays, most of which are mind-controlled. Maybe some are clones.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe.
I like when people start a crazy thought and they're just like, well, at this point, you know, I'm beyond the point of no return. Or he's a clone. I mean, you know, who knows? The frogs are gay.
And this is a video that people cite, and this is a genuinely weird video. Most of which are mind-controlled. Oh, shit. Some are clones.
Yeah. All right, we just went a little meta there.
I didn't realize we were playing the. Was that happening the whole time?
Oh, I don't know.
Probably.
We're only 13 minutes in.
They were probably hearing a weird. It's just the live stream would have been hearing a weird echo.
Yeah, should we check the? Should we reopen it in another tab and see if we?
Oh no, it's
still streaming.
It's still streaming. I just don't have it open. Anymore. But
no worries.
Yeah, we're fine. Yeah, this is a video that people cite, and it's kind of a weird video. I mean, here we go.
But he's going to join the Saturday Night Crew with
This
our
is-
music intro.
Okay, I mean-
Now, this is him clearly being funny.
Of one of his new videos,
And people use this video as evidence of his clone glitching out.
Yeah, the script's about to kick off. This party looks wet. Let's take it back to straight hip hop and start it from scratch.
That was a pretty great song.
Oh, Berserk. I thought it was underrated.
Yeah. But this...
I very much enjoy that he didn't just do the lead single as the celebrity diss montage
Yeah.
like he had for years.
Are they just going to show his whole
They might just be playing Berserk.
entire...
Yeah, he's acting weird there, but I mean, if you're an Eminem fan like I am and you've watched a lot of Eminem videos, like, he hates interview. He's much better at rapping than he is at talking, you know?
Yeah, for sure.
And he just doesn't give a fuck. Yeah, there's a great one where Stephen Colbert hosted that show at the Public Access Studio, and he had Eminem on as a guest, and, like, he's doing exactly that, just deliberately to be funny because he knows it's a comedy program. Like, he's not an unfunny guy. He just doesn't really want to, you know, go through the effort of giving people a bunch of sound bites and shit like that.
Was helping produce that with you, Marshall, when you did that? Yeah, sorry. Live TV freaks me out a little bit.
Yeah, he's clearly just being funny.
Yes, I'm sorry.
He's
And-
also shorter than I thought he'd be, but
Yeah, he is super short. Well, those are probably both former pro athletes, so they might just be super tall, too.
yeah.
How many takes?
But yeah, that's a video of him on in the booth during a Notre Dame Michigan college football game, acting like a weirdo,
Yeah.
and that's the kind of shit that these conspiracy
Yeah, it's almost
theories
as though
rely
he's
on as evidence.
like been divorced twice, had a serious drug problem, and has been famous since he was in his early 20s. He might, maybe he's a little bit eccentric.
How do you feel about the idea that maybe Beyonce died?
Ooh, I don't know.
There's a few Beyonce theories, and some of them I'm on board with.
My whole thing about Beyonce is like I don't think everyone's wrong about Beyonce. I just don't think that they're as right as they think they are.
That's true.
I think
That's
I
a
think she's
point.
good. I think she's good. Just good.
I do. I think, yeah, I mean, she's great.
I like the Formation Banks. You know, she's not without her fucking hits and charm, and I think she's a cool gal.
Did you
know?
say the formation bangs?
Yeah, that's a song, but that's a good song.
Oh, I thought you were talking about like her bangs
Get
in
a
the
Texas
video.
Bama. That was my
get
favorite.
it
Is
now.
when that Taylor Swift single came out, and you know, there was that big tweet that went around. It was like, "My mama Pennsylvania, my dad from Pennsylvania. You mix that pencil with that Vania. I am from Pennsylvania." I did one that didn't blow up as much as I thought which was okay, ladies. Now let's ask to speak to their manager. But you know, I never get any respect. The real Beyonce died in 2010, Adam.
2010, she died. In the 2000s, her team decided, well, here's a good stroke of luck, Connor, being that she died in 2010.
Yeah.
Because in the 2000s, as one does, her team decided to store her stem cells just in case something happened.
Yeah, Tom Goss has a necklace, which is a hermetically sealed capsule full of my jism in case I die, and they need someone to learn how to edit the Mean Boys podcast. I do think that's funny, where it's just like, well, like there's someone at a regular level who's like, oh my god, this person is making us too much money. Let's just, I'm just gonna ask Bae for a strand of her hair as a souvenir. Hope she doesn't get too creeped out, and then we'll start growing backups like Django Fett.
She just wakes up one night and there's a needle in her neck.
Yeah.
In 2010, she supposedly died, and there is no explanation, according to this theory, as to how or why. And the first evidence people start pointing to is in 2010, she released an album called I Am Sasha Fierce.
Just don't do anything interesting as a famous person if you don't want any conspiracy theories about you. There's no Andy Rooney conspiracy theories. Like don't ever have like a nickname or an alias,
Yeah, and it's as if celebrities never release albums under alter egos. Like that's such a common thing.
Oh yeah, even back to like 80s like fucking power pop guys did that shit,
Yeah. And
what's the Garth Brooks one?
Chris Gaines.
Chris Gaines. Yeah, my girlfriend was telling me about that.
What's your Christian bodybuilder's name?
Oh,
Parker Gaines.
Parker Gaines. He's a guy I'm a fan of. He might be on Instagram at some point. We'll discuss it later.
This is a really popular or famous tweet that went around in regards to this theory. And it says, for all you true Beyonce fans, the chick on the left is her, but the chick on the right is not. And this is where it starts to really make sense. This high-degree masonry witch on the right is a clone. Take a good look. Don't believe me? Look up every celebrity and look how they different. They turn up every single time. People, their faces change over the years.
Yeah.
These two side-by-side pictures, granted, she's smiling in one. She's wearing earrings in one.
She's got a little more eyeshadow on the other one. The brows have been thickened out a bit.
Yeah, she's got really heavy eyeliner in one picture.
She's got the Jennifer Aniston highlights,
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of these with the Kim Kardashian butt truthers. I'm a big fan of those.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, where it's like, well, this is her with Paris Hilton in 2007, and this is her today, and she's hauling around a radio flyer full of fucking pig meat.
And who cares?
Yeah.
Let her have a fake ass. There's also...
I'll tell you, I ain't complaining. Ho.
There's also a picture, if you search Beyonce fake pregnancy, you will find
Jesus Christ.
a picture from her on a talk show where people claim the way she's bending over makes it look like her pregnant belly is fake.
Here's one fun recurring thing with all these video evidences. They're all in 480p.
Exactly, yeah.
It's all like, okay.
And as far as her clone glitching like the Eminem thing, the thing people point to for Beyonce is that she kind of slipped and almost fell during her Super Bowl halftime performance. And you will literally find people who are like, would the real Beyonce do that? Like, maybe.
She is incapable of fault.
Yeah. It makes no fucking sense.
Well, most of the people that are big Beyonce fans are fans of the shit after 2010,
Right.
They're all big, like, Lemonade fans, all that shit. And then, like, before that, she was popular, and everyone, she had single ladies and shit like that. But, I mean, I feel like she really blew up and became like, oh, Beyonce is the way, the truth, and the light, like, after that. So it's like, maybe this cloning technology is on something. You guys should shut up if you want some more hot summer jams.
There's another theory that, the one where we haven't, this kind of ties into it, but there's a theory that Beyonce is Solange's mother as opposed to being her sister.
Mm-hmm.
And that Beyonce is actually...
And she just got mad at Jay-Z because he was like a stepdad.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, I don't know that like what that argument was about, but... Yeah, the theory is that Beyonce became pregnant at the age of 12 or 13.
Mm-hmm.
And her parents covered it up by lying about her age and claiming that Solange was their child. There's even some who say that Matthew Knowles is actually Solange's father.
Oh, Beyonce's dad?
Which would mean that Beyonce's dad raped her.
That's how you go to Texas, Bama.
Ooh.
Yeah.
But there is part of this theory that I kind of buy, which is that Beyonce is maybe a little older than she says she is.
Well, what is she, a Korean gymnast? Like, why do you really need to hide that shit? Does it really matter that much if you're Beyonce?
See, I think that's where
because she blew up as a 20-year-old or whatever with Destiny's Child, right?
That's where I think the Solange thing comes in. People point to her covering up her actual age as evidence that she delivered this baby in sometime in the 90s, and her family's trying
Solange
to cover
is
it
12
up.
years younger than Beyonce?
I think officially, yes.
Okay. One time
no, I think it's not even that, because Solange was born in, I don't remember.
Yeah. One time I walked into my house and my roommate is blasting Solange, and then he comes out just in his like boxer shorts and a t-shirt, and I was like, "Yeah, are you fucking in there?" And he's like, "No." Just getting down to some Solange.
Just listening to some Solange.
Yeah.
But the one really weird piece of evidence, at least in the Beyonce is older than she claims department, is Gabrielle Union, who gave an interview, or Gabrielle Union, who's an actress. She was in the first Bring It On movie, which is fantastic. If people have never seen it. She was born in 1972, and she said in an interview that she and Beyonce were friends, quote, as teenagers, which at that point people were like, huh?
Yeah.
Like, that doesn't make sense.
I mean,
because Beyonce would have been they wouldn't have been teenagers at the same time.
Yeah, she would have been
there's
like in her 20s or something.
Right.
Oh, man.
Yeah,
that is kind of odd.
And there's also someone claims to have found Beyonce's actual birth certificate from the Department of Health or something in
Joe
Texas.
Arpaio actually sent someone out to Hawaii.
And they claim that it says she was born in 74, not 81.
Interesting.
Which would make Beyonce older than me.
Whoa.
God damn.
You've still got a chance, Adam.
That is a twist.
You know, I was researching a sketch I was shooting one time about a morning zoo crew reacting to the events of 9/11. You know, like just like, hey, everybody, welcome to blah. And just like how they would handle seeing the towers fall, you know, from up to New York. And the number one song when 9/11 happened was Bootylicious by Destiny's Child.
Very nice.
It's kind of funny.
So yeah, that's the Beyonce theory.
That second part is a little interesting.
Yeah, I don't buy that she died, but I'm not completely off board with the Solange might be her kid and she's older than she claims.
I will say that as someone who speaks constantly on a semi-professional level, I say the wrong thing aggressively almost all the time. So I get in an interview if you're like, oh, when we were teenagers, and you're like, oh, I was a teenager. She was in her 20s. It was kind of weird they were friends, but you know.
But yeah, that one seems weird.
Yeah.
The Gabrielle Union thing seems really weird.
Yeah, that might have some legs.
This next theory, on the surface, it sounds insane.
Mm-hmm.
But I actually think it's one of the more plausible theories on this list.
Interesting, because I was reading through it and I kind of found it was just a little kind of sexist, like you wrote in the notes.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely kind of sexist.
Might be why Adam believes it, all right?
But the problem is there's precedent for it.
Okay.
And the theory is that J.K. Rowling is actually an actress and not a writer, and that she is the face of what is actually a big team of writers that have been churning out and producing the Harry Potter books for however many years. And the argument they make is not kind of sexist. It's super duper sexist, which is that it would be impossible for one woman to write 7 thick books that are translated into 55 languages, which she's not translating them. People get that part, right?
Well, first of all,
she's not like writing it in Aramaic also.
Yeah, she's not getting murdered on behalf of Salman Rushdie.
Exactly.
By the way, these are pieces of literature, not Rihanna in the last 3 months. We don't have to call them thick. You could say lengthy. There's a lot of other fantastic words you could have used there.
And yeah, it's a very sexist way to think about it. It comes from, though, and here's one at least kind of strike against it being written off immediately as sexist, is the person who came up with the theory is a woman named Nina Grunfeld.
White feminism.
Exactly. She is a Norwegian filmmaker.
Okay.
And she wrote the first article kind of putting this theory forward that J.K. Rowling is is just an actress who is the face of this franchise.
Well, I was under the impression, remind a little bit, I was a Harry Potter fan as a kid, and I'm not as like into the whole extended universe and everything, and yada yada yada, as a lot of people. But I mean, I was under the impression that she was writing mystery novels that were kind of just paying the bills, but not doing great numbers. And then in this time, she was coming up with the the world of Harry Potter. She was toying with like the language for the spells and all this shit. And this was just kind of she'd been tinkering with for a long time, and it was kind of her big fucking opus, whatever.
Yeah, I mean that's the story they tell, Connor. But the reason, the one thing that makes it not that implausible is it's a thing that has happened before.
Yeah.
With the Nancy Drew novels, which were always credited to a woman named Carolyn Keene, and that woman did not exist. There was just a group of writers who wrote the Nancy Drew novels, and they credited them to one person to make it look.
I mean, I read every single goddamn Hardy Boys when I was a kid, and those are fun books to read if you're a lad. But I mean, they're all very disposable, and it's all very formulaic. Chet gets in his jalopy, his new hobby of ventriloquism saves the day, and they escape from the haunted island.
Right?
Something like Harry Potter. I mean, that is a much more. You have to have a pretty good vision for storytelling and world building and character development and dialogue and all this shit. That's not something that you can, shit out like an Animorph sequel.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, it does. I mean, the fact that it happened before makes it moderately believable, but this woman has to have a little more proof to go on.
It's really just like happened in the past. But J.K. Rowling also just strikes me like, even when I just like I'll see her tweets or see her in interviews and stuff, like this is just a bookie lady. She likes to stay inside with a cup of tea, read. She's got a couple of friends. She's a nerd. I get the vibe that she just very genuinely loves literature and living in these little fantasy worlds. Like, not like she's, an escapist or whatever, but I mean, someone that likes to get lost in a good book. That's the vibe I get. And maybe this actress is just playing that part very convincingly, but
yeah,
I don't know. I'm not really feeling this one.
Yeah. Who knows? How about the fact that Avril Lavigne died and is being impersonated by her best friend?
Love it. This is a fantastic episode of like one of those like daytime soaps my grandma still watches.
Yeah, which according to this theory, her friend would have also married Chad Kroeger from Nickelback, which, ooh.
That guy that makes all those condiments at Food for Less.
Exactly. Yeah, I always wonder when Kroger brand stuff shows up in stores here. I'm like, how? Like what? There's no Kroger here. Kroger's like a huge grocery chain in the Midwest.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Oh, I was just in the Midwest. I don't think I've seen those. I do think you can tell a lot about people by their regional chain stores.
Oh yeah.
Like their gas stations. Like you go to like Pennsylvania and it's all like, oh man, we're going to Sheetz. And I was like, what the fuck is Sheetz? And it's like, it's this gas station, but they got food and they're open all night. And I'm like, oh, you guys. So I get what Trump won now. Like
it's Casey's General Store in the Midwest.
Yep, I've seen some Casey's. I stopped it there.
Best fucking pizza.
Here's when you know you're in trouble.
So goddamn good.
When you're in trouble is when you see a Sinclair with that green brontosaurus, and there's going to be like one pump from the Carter administration, and you got to go talk to the guy and just swipe your debit card through his 2 remaining teeth to get your fucking gas and get out of rural Montana.
Yeah, Sinclair is always a scary place.
Yeah.
There's not much to the Avril Lavigne theory. It just alleges that Avril Lavigne died in 2003 at the age of 19, a year after the release of her debut album, Let Go. Woo. Her second album, Under My Skin, was released in 2004. And the blogger that came up with this theory insists that the title is very suggestive of the truth.
I have a counter theory I'm developing right now, which is that Avril Lavigne's publicist is like, all right, these personal appearance fees are going down. She's not writing anything that we can get on the charts. How about we come up with a conspiracy theory?
Yeah.
Oh, the Mean Boys are actually Andy Milonakis diseased weirdos. Like I'm gonna start doing this for unpopular opinion host Adam Todd Brown is actually Robin Williams.
I am. This podcast would be so much more unbearable if I was Robin Williams.
That was just an old racist that saw a ghost. That
was they also add that just before the 2004 album came out, a band member and close friend of Avril Lavigne named Evan Taubenfeld left her band. He addressed this in a duet with Lavigne. This makes no sense. called The Best Years of Our Lives with the line, "I never thought I would lose my best friend," which the blog suggests means he must have known that it was the new Levine on the track. What? He could have just been singing a fucking song.
Did he, like...
This is what he wrote.
Did he quiz her on, like, where's the freckle on my dick? And she was like, the shaft? And he's like, the base! That's what I told my that's what I told my friends as we were talking about, like, okay, if there was a clone of you and I had to figure out whether or not I was going to shoot which one, like what's the secret I should tell you so you can ask? And I was like, well, my cat scratched my dick when I was a little kid, so I have a little kitty cat claw shaped scar on like the top of my shaft or whatever. And my buddy Ryan was like, I'm not looking at that. I'm just going to shoot both of you. I was like, you asshole.
Probably a better plan.
Well, and that's another thing. It's like, why would you hide clues? Why? I mean, I guess that these people are just the actors and they want to put some of these like things out there because they're trapped and they're trying to get help. But it's like, at that point, you can just go to the police, you know, and say like, I need a security detail. I'll pay with it for, you know, with my millions of dollars. I'll have to hire a bunch of Blackwater rent-a-cops that encircle my home in the Hollywood Hills, and I'll be the most famous person in the world because I'm revealing the scandal. I wouldn't just be like, oh, my best friend died, you know, and just hope that some fat guy on the internet dug it up and came up with a theory about it.
Yeah, it's fucking nuts.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Andrew WK.
And first of all, I want all these to be true, but I'm not seeing any.
Yeah, I mean the Andrew WK one I think actually has an explanation that people always leave out. But the theory is that he's played by several actors, and
well, he parties a lot. It's got to take its toll. He's got to sub one in.
Yeah. The whole theory started in 2005 after a December 2004 concert in Elizabeth City, New Jersey, which was sponsored by college radio station WSOU.
Can I take a bathroom break? Will that be an editing nightmare?
No, go ahead.
Sorry.
Yeah. Connor's gonna go and take a shit. Connor's shitting, everybody. It's gonna be a big explosive dump. Luckily, we have a camera in there too. Let's cut to that. We don't. I'm just joking. How's everyone holding up out there? Kroger owns a ton of stores. Don't you sass me, Jennifer Fendelander.
All right, I'm back.
And Connor's back. Let's talk about Andrew WK.
Yes.
And that he's played by several different actors. This is a theory. It was started in 2005 after a concert in Elizabeth City, New Jersey, sponsored by college radio station WSOU. Audience members and security staff claim that the person singing on stage in Andrew WK's signature white outfit wasn't actually Andrew WK.
And it was after Labor Day. Shame on him.
Yeah, shame. Less than halfway through the set, this Andrew WK suddenly left the stage and the rest of the show was canceled.
More like Andrew WTF.
Right? Am I right? Boom. Air horn. Radio sponsor WSOU was also confused and angered as they tried to figure out what exactly happened.
You know who actually has admitted to doing this and it is well documented is MF Doom. You remember that scandal?
Oh, really?
Big Doom fan, and for a while he was just sending out dudes in the mask to go do his gigs, and they'd start rapping and people would be like, okay, this is bullshit. MF Doom is 4 inches shorter than this guy. This guy is jacked. MF Doom's a fat guy that wears hockey jerseys and shit. Like,
that's amazing.
Yeah. And he basically was like, yeah, I mean, when you pay for the show, you're paying for what MF Doom wants to give you, and I'm giving you the Doom poster or whatever. MF Doom is fucking insane. Like, yeah, I love that guy. But yeah, no one's ever like, he's dead. They're just like, oh yeah, I think he's in England because he got like busted for weed or something. I don't know what's going on with him.
Yeah, so I mean, it could happen, but what I've always heard is that, the theory goes on that shortly after this happened, Andrew WK stopped writing music, releasing records, and touring, claiming to have a new perspective on what makes people truly happy. He decided to put his music on hiatus to pursue a career as a motivational self-help speaker and traveled around the country to lecture people on the subject of personal happiness and fulfillment.
Anytime anyone in any kind of I don't know a lot about Andrew WK's music. I'm assuming it's fun, but not very substantive. Would that be correct?
Yeah.
So I mean, if this is a situation where he was kind of like an industry push. You have people in the indie industry where it's like, this guy's a star, we got to make him a star. Ryan Reynolds would be an example where like we're just going to keep throwing him in superhero movies until one sticks.
Right.
Happens with comedians a lot of the time, like, oh, he's got a great look, let's get him on all these MTV shows until he's selling tickets on the road. We'll get people to write an act for him. I think this is a situation like that, and I think very possible that this guy was kind of like, fuck this, I'm out. I'll just like. I like the people like this. They really like me. The songs are fun, but I don't really give a shit. It might have just been like, oh, he grew up as a person a little bit.
Well, one thing I read also was that he had some sort of dispute with his record label or some sort of legal issue.
Yeah, came in there with a baseball bat and
forced Suge Knight to release someone from his contract.
I was on 4chan a lot during high school. Believe it or not, listening
What?
audience.
No.
And he popped by /Moo to do an AMA one time, and he had like photo proof or whatever. And he's Andrew WK holding up his little Sharpie thing, like /Moo, and then the date, and he's like, "What's up, nerds?" or whatever. And then kind of hung out and answered questions and stuff. Made a trip code. He was pretty cool.
Nice.
So I always respected that. Anyone that takes the time to come to 4chan.
Yeah, exactly. He's. I mean, this is I always heard that he had a record label dispute and it prevented him from releasing music in the United States.
What do Andrew WK and Black Flag have in common? Yeah, he had to put out the name with all the recordings with Keith Morris just under the names of the band members.
You can actually find an interview with Andrew WK and Larry King online. It's on YouTube where he discusses this rumor. And this is another one where they have all these side-by-side pictures, and in every picture, the pre-2005 Andrew WK has a facial hair, and he has a goatee, and the other one doesn't.
Yeah.
So they're like, see? It's different.
Yeah.
No, it's not. He shaved.
Couldn't even get Larry King to suspend his disbelief.
I love that there's a cheering crowd at the end of that too.
I'll say it every show I do for this network. I love the prioritization of sound effects. All right, we got air horn, cunt dinger, and then Wilhelm scream and Howard Dean. 2 screams. We got 2 screams.
Screams. Well, that's a red-tailed hawk.
Oh, okay. Like Tobias from the Animorphs.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. We call it intensity eagle, but
Okay.
it's a hawk.
Gotcha.
Bad news, Connor. Katy Perry's actually John Benet Ramsey. Or I guess that's good news because John Benet Ramsey then in that case didn't actually get murdered.
Yeah.
This is one of the flimsiest theories of all.
Yeah.
And
they're both blonde.
yeah, they're both blonde. Their parents kind of look alike.
Okay.
And the whole thing that this centers around, and there's a video, I don't know if we'll make it through the video. Let me just pull it up and see if we can get to
the juicy part.
Yeah, it's fucking 7 minutes long.
Oh, this person does not know how to screen capture
A star.
their computer.
John Benet Ramsey became.
Oh,
Katy Perry.
and just the mic quality.
That's a
I'm
fact.
not respecting
Yeah.
a theory where if you can't afford a
Continue to
snowball
lie.
mic,
Yeah.
to make your
About this
YouTube.
person dying. You are in fact a false
It sounds
witness
like
to
he's
murder.
recording it in a walk-in
That's a fact.
cooler.
If any of you have told people
Okay.
in the past that this person died,
So that's not
you
gonna
tell-
that's not gonna do us any favors.
Yeah.
But yeah, this video, he shows all these side-by-side pictures, and I mean, do they look alike? No. John Benet Ramsey's a child, and Katy Perry is an adult.
Yeah, children look drastically different,
Yeah.
as they evolve. You put a Thunderstone on John Benet, and all of a sudden, sorry, that was not good at all.
And
Well, yeah, they both had like religious parents and stuff, right?
they both had religious parents, and the whole thing that this theory centers around is Katy Perry wrote a book at one point, of course, and she talks about being a child entertainer, and she says it's not like there was a John Benet Ramsey inside me bursting to get out. And this guy's like, why would she say that
Well,
if she wasn't John Benet
She's
Ramsey?
trying to cover her tracks.
It's like that. That's the last thing she would do if she was actually John Benet Ramsey.
These kind of people don't have that Freudian need to fucking do that shit through their art. You know, that only happens with like a Louis C.K. Woody Allen, where Woody Allen fucked a 17-year-old and then he made a movie about fucking a 17-year-old. And for whatever reason, he can't fucking help it. Like, you know, people say Louis C.K. jacks off in front of female comedians in a hotel room. So he made a movie where it's sexual assault is like a very heavy theme and it's a lot of parallels. There's an episode of his TV show about jacking off in front of a lady. So it's like, if you're secretly, like, I get it for those kind of guys, you know? And I'm not saying that women can't also be, you know,
Right.
A Freudian sociopathic, you know, clue-dropping nightmare people, but it doesn't, I don't know. It's never, that's a stupid way to do it.
Right.
You know?
What do you think of the Bill Hicks faked his death and became Alex Jones theory?
Oh man, big fan of both of these guys.
Yeah, this one is
Not a fan of Alex Jones. I'm sorry. Bill Hicks fan.
This is an interesting one because they don't look dissimilar.
I think they look pretty goddamn close. There's some of these pictures you'll pull up where it's like, okay, damn.
Yeah, and what I didn't realize is that Sacred Cow Productions, which produced a bunch of Bill Hicks albums, he was like one of their main talent for a long time.
Yeah.
Is also where Alex Jones got his start right around the same time Bill Hicks died.
Well, I think that's probably how he knows Joe Rogan is from back in the days, like working with stand-up and stuff. Because I think they filmed that one Bill Hicks special that's in like Austin or something, where it's kind of just done on like, you know, like old cameras and all that.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And if you go to the Sacred Cow Productions website now, Bill Hicks and Alex Jones are both listed as,
You know.
personalities. And I feel like they're kind of, I'll show you I feel like they're kind of trying to play along with the theory a little bit, because when you look on their artist bio page, look at Bill Hicks' picture. It's like intentionally, this thumbnail is like intentionally blurry. And then Alex Jones is right below him, and Alex Jones is wearing sunglasses.
Well, I don't know why you're leading with whoever the hell Calorino Castillo is.
Yeah, DEA agent.
Okay.
What? Yeah,
You-
why is he first?
Sane Man is the special I was thinking of. It's a good one.
Yeah.
And yeah, when Bill Hicks does do his like demon Republican Donald Rumsfeld ranty voice, it does sound a lot like Bill Hicks. But also, I think an important thing to factor in here is there's approximately 47 different genes in Texas to go around. You know, so I think they just kind of drew from the same general look pool. You know, like there's certain areas you go where everyone looks very similar. We don't have to name China's, but I'm kidding. You know, but like, you go to the Midwest and you're like, okay, everyone, there's 8 different faces, and you kind of roll the dice and you get one of them.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. This the people argue that the reason he made this switch in his career is that he is a CIA disinformation agent who was put into the AM shock jock scene to discredit actual radio hosts.
Yeah. Well, the thing about that is, at this point, he's accrued a lot of influence. This would be, you know, a mildly, you know, salient point, like maybe 8-9 years ago. But at this point, he's got a very large platform. He's clearly influencing a lot of people, not only in the mainstream media, but some of the, you know, the powerful people within the political system and in the private sector. So it's like, if he was trying to do this as just, you know, to make everyone just think like, oh yeah, there's a bunch of goofballs, like blah blah blah, make up your own mind, then he would have probably tapped out a while ago.
Yeah.
Unless he, you know, just went crazy and started drinking the Kool-Aid himself or whatever.
Yeah, you would think, but
Yeah.
it is interesting. Didn't Alex Jones also at one point in court have to admit that he's just
Doing a
sort of
character.
doing a character?
Yeah, well, he did because he was trying to like keep custody of his kids or something.
Yeah.
There was that great tweet, and I'm sorry I don't remember who wrote it. You could probably find it, but it's a list of people who Alex Jones has lost legal battles to this year. His ex-wife, Yogurt. I apologize. You got to watch the Alex Jones apology. I apologize to the good people over at Chobani Yogurt for mischaracterizing their product and their involvement with making the CIA gay for NASCAR. We here at InfoWars do not think that Chobani Yogurt is actually the seed of the devil himself. This was a characterization that I used in an analogy to call Hillary Clinton a bitch. That's a pretty good Alex Jones, actually.
That was pretty great.
Yeah.
That was pretty great. Let's so yeah, that one just on looks alone
They look fucking very similar.
they look very similar. The fact that they come from the same Because for all we know, Bill Hicks might not have been an actual name either. That could just be a dude. For who knows?
I kind of have. I know a few people kind of closer to the Hicks family or whatever, a little bit, and I think that they would. I don't know. I just don't think you can do. I don't think you can pull something like that off, especially someone who became so popular in death as Bill Hicks. And also, there's the fact that Joe Rogan is a big, Bill Hicks fan. He'll always talk about, how much he loves the Kennedy assassination joke or whatever on the show or whatever. And he's also friends with Bill Hicks, and you don't think he would No, he's addressed it. He's said as much. I mean, do you think he...
Yeah.
It's one of these things where it's like there's so many people, there's so many comics that knew Bill Hicks. And I think, by virtue of being comics ourselves, we know that the comics are some of the most gossipy, fucking loose-lipped motherfuckers on planet Earth. So I'm sure Doug Stanhope would have gotten drunk and be like, oh, yeah, he's doing his radio show now.
Probably.
Yeah, he said he was going to give me a cigarette and he didn't, so I'm going to blow his multi-million-dollar media operation open.
How do you feel about maybe Stevie Wonder not being blind?
I mean,
Changing gears slightly.
Yeah, I don't know.
This is there's
maybe.
this video. Did you watch this video?
I did, yeah.
It's a 9-second video. Anyone can go out and search for it and find it on YouTube. It is it's called Is Stevie Wonder Really Blind? And it has 108 downvotes.
Opens with fake Paul McCartney.
Yeah, it's got Paul McCartney's Imposter singing next to Jerry Seinfeld.
They called him Paul for fake Paul. That's actually what they say in that documentary.
Paul McCartney.
My favorite season is the autumn, a.k.a. the fall.
This is a 9-second video. Let's just watch it quick. What happens... Paul McCartney runs over to the side of the stage. This is like an all-star celebrity jam thing. Fucking Nancy Pelosi is on stage.
I was about to say, is that fucking Nancy Pelosi? I think it is.
Next to maybe Al Gore, maybe character actor Eric Roberts. I have no fucking clue.
All we are saying is cut the corporate tax.
And Paul McCartney runs over to the side of the stage and knocks a microphone over. And Stevie Wonder just reaches out and catches it.
You know who wouldn't have done that? The real Beyonce. She wouldn't fall.
So let's watch it quick.
Stop skipping, Paul. You're at 70. Here's what happened there. The microphone fell onto Stevie Wonder's arm. I also think at the very end, if we can go back, I'm pretty sure that's Tay Zonday. I'm pretty sure this might have been in his window of relevance. If you put
no, that's Herbie Hancock.
Next to
that's Herbie Hancock.
That's Herbie Hancock. Oh man, I'm a big fan of Herbie Hancock. I love the shit you did with Jacob Pastorius, Herbie. I'm sorry for disrespecting you like that. I feel a little racist now.
But Stevie Wonder's definitely not blind. Mm-hmm. Now, what I think happened when you see him run by, Paul McCartney's head hits the actual microphone.
Yeah.
So Stevie Wonder, if nothing else, would have heard that.
Yeah.
And Stevie Wonder's been around enough microphones to know what it sounds like when someone runs into a microphone and it might be falling.
And I mean, yeah, he's on the streets, cleaning up crime in between working as a public defender in New York. So I mean, he can hang.
I had never seen his eyes before.
Yeah, that's a pretty haunting picture, MediaTakeout.com.
One of the things people say is, well, if he's blind, why does he wear sunglasses? Which, doesn't damn near every blind person wear sunglasses?
Yeah, because their eyes are kind of gross, and they're doing you a favor.
Yeah. And Stevie Wonder is no exception. There's a picture.
Imagine being able to sense that someone is staring at you without being able to see them stare at you. Like, imagine how fucking uncomfortable that would be with all your heightened senses, your fucking arm hairs standing up.
There is I could not for the life of me find the video again, but there's a video it was on TMZ, and they corner some friend of Stevie Wonder's outside an airport. Mm-hmm. And they're like, what do you say about the rumors that Stevie Wonder's blind? And this guy tells a story about how Stevie Wonder used to go around when he would walk in the studio, he would go around to all the women and pretend to accidentally grope their breasts, but he would just do it. And he would be like, oh, I'm sorry, I'm blind, while he's just grabbing...
Well, he's got that sense of smell. You can just smell titties like a bloodhound.
Room full of titties. So he's like... I like that the guy debunked this theory with...
When you're blind, they let you do it.
Like a fun sexual assault anecdote.
Yeah.
He's not blind. He touches titties all the time.
He's just a rapist?
So yeah, that's that's one that people are really. There's a big Stevie Wonder is not blind movement, and he has fun with it. He at one point there was an interview where I think it was TMZ also, and they caught him outside an airport, and he said something about how he was going to fly a plane later, and they said something about him not being blind, and he was like, "I'm going to tell the truth this year."
That's too funny.
Yeah.
That's what I would do, is I would just lean into it, you know? I think that's really how you handle a scandal.
Yeah, I'd be like, "You're right. I can see. Let me drive.
Yeah.
Give me your keys.
I'd be like, yeah, give me the keys. I'll go tell you all about it.
Get in the passenger seat."
Oh, it's too funny.
I don't know why we're ending on this one, but let's talk about Lorde.
Yeah.
Lordy, Lordy, look who might be 40. Lorde claims to have been born.
I quit the show. Yeah, who better to talk about Lorde than Adam and me, a guy who mostly listens to post-punk and death grips.
Yeah, I know nothing about Lorde.
Neither do I.
Except that
at
Royals
all.
song,
Oh, yeah. That was okay.
which I know she wrote after seeing a picture of George Brett, which...
It was
that's
George
right.
Brett.
He played for the Kansas City Royals for a long time.
Oh, and she just like kind of got a...
She just saw that picture and
got
his shirt that said Royals.
Her clam got moist for old George Brett. started to make a little music down there, you know what I mean?
Hey.
Oh.
She claims to be 20 years old, but theorists claim she is 40 years old. Several years ago, Jezebel ran an article where a woman claimed to have she reached out to whoever you reach out to in New Zealand to get a copy of Lorde's birth certificate.
Uh-huh.
And she didn't get an actual copy. She just got a printout saying that she was born in 1996. And people were like, you could fake that. Which, beyond that, the only other evidence is she looks old.
She's weird looking?
She looks older than 20. Which, does she?
Yeah, I don't know. I think she just looks, well, I mean...
It is funny that
here's the thing. Maybe she's just a famous woman that's not wearing makeup, and this is how society has, like...
Yeah, I do like
bent
that.
our perception of age.
I do like that someone ran her picture through that Facebook What's My Age app.
Oh, God,
and it came back as 49.
Yeah, the worst possible picture where she looks like a corpse.
Yeah, she looks exhausted in
Yeah.
that picture.
She looks like she's raising 6 kids that aren't hers.
There was also apparently in an interview with Vanity Fair, she introduced herself by saying, "Hi, I'm Ella Kay, and I'm actually 45. Why would she do that?
Because she's 20 and someone made her famous, you know? If I got famous when I was 20, I mean, Lord help me if I get famous at any point. I'm going to fucking do a bunch of stupid shit that I regret forever. But I would have been saying the most ridiculous garbage, you know? It would have just been nonsense. I would have been like, yeah, call me fucking Peter or whatever. It doesn't matter. It's all with the music, you know?
She also apparently in one interview said that the virgin suicides really resonated with me as a teenager. I mean, I am still a teenager because Virgin Suicides came out in the fucking 90s or...
What's the Virgin Suicides?
It was a movie with Kirsten Dunst, I believe, is in it. It's a good movie. It's a weird movie.
All right.
They give a lot away in that title.
And again, yeah, I mean, I'll say like, oh yeah, back when I was a teenager, and then I remember, oh wait, no, I did that stupid thing 6 months ago.
Yeah.
You know?
And especially the way that quote works, she says, it really resonated with me as a teenager. Like she could be saying, me as a teenager, that resonates with me.
Yeah.
She's not necessarily saying 20 years ago when it came out, it really resonated with me.
Yeah.
But maybe she is. Like maybe
I mean,
maybe she's older than she says she is. This is one of those who really cares.
Yeah, who gives, like, I mean, unless you're having a kid with Lorde and you're trying to figure out if there's like a risk for autism, I don't think this is any of your business.
Yeah, or until she dies at 40 and the official explanation is natural causes. And we're like, what? How? She just died in her sleep?
Yeah.
Okay.
I have a feeling Lorde is just going to disappear one day and they're going to just be like, she said spaceship, but who knows? It might have been.
Yeah. I feel like she's on her way. I don't know. I just don't know that much about her music.
Neither do I. I mean, she seems to have cultivated kind of a cool persona. I know people are all into her.
Yeah.
I don't really know. God bless her.
So that's our episode.
Any of these we buy in I think the only one we gave a plausible to was the Solange daughter one.
Yeah, the Solange daughter one seems at least somewhat feasible.
And I don't know if this is naive or fucked up, but when you have like stretch marks or when your tummy look a little weird,
Yeah,
you know, like
think.
Beyonce, like very early in her career was, probably had, was showing some midriff during those Destiny Child videos. I can't think of any offhand. I don't really know
Right.
their work that well.
Bills,
but I'm like,
Bills.
all I got is
name?
bills.
Nope,
Bills.
that is not how that song
No, okay. Anyway, yeah. So I don't know that one maybe.
Yeah, who knows? But yeah, I think that's probably the most believable. The Alex Jones Bill Hicks thing is weird too.
It is fucking weird. That's one I go back to every once in a while. I'm like, well, maybe.
Because that one, like, I get that he's got all these close friends, but he could just as easily go to Joe Rogan and be like, "Hey, here's the thing I'm doing with my career now. Don't fucking tell anybody."
Yeah, but my kind of thing is like I don't think Bill Hicks could. I think just as having the comedian gene, I think you would go crazy if you weren't being funny. And I mean, maybe the whole way he gets that kind of satisfaction just by trolling people now.
That's the thing. He maybe thinks he is being funny.
But I was just listening to Bill Hicks the other day, and I was like, he's very, very articulate, and and it's like Alex Jones will just frequently just like go on these random, and maybe he just found this character that he loves to do, and this is his Jiminy Glick, and he's gonna ride it into the sunset. But
yeah, could be.
I can't believe it. I'm an edgy white guy in his early 20s. You want me to disown Bill Hicks? Come on now, that's a bridge too far.
Yeah, Bill Hicks is great. If anyone listening to this isn't familiar with him, go find out where Dennis Leary got his entire goddamn career from, and check out some early Bill Hicks.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's our episode. We should get the fuck out of here. What do we have to plug? I think the Unpop show that you're on already passed.
Oh, yeah. Well, no, we didn't have an episode this week, so I think this is going out on Monday, right?
Oh yeah, if we are we gonna start doing the weekly episodes?
We
this week?
can, yeah, I'm down.
Hey everybody, Conspiracy the Show is happening weekly now.
I thought we already were.
How exciting!
Me and Adam communicate very well.
We meant to announce it on 9/11.
God damn it. Yeah.
And we blew it.
Yeah, so this Wednesday, come see us at the Alex Theater in Glendale. Free show.
Yeah.
A lot of funny people. Lori Kilmartin's there.
No, Lori Kilmartin canceled.
Okay, she had agreed to it at one point, so it was going to be good.
She'll be on a future show. We're going to line up a really great guest headliner, but we have Connor and Keith from the Mean Boys podcast. Greg Edwards, holy shit, he's so funny.
He's great. Thug Notes.
Travis Clark is going to be on that show.
He's a nice guy.
He's fantastic.
Yeah, very
nice guy,
really,
funny guy.
Really sweet,
Really funny.
I'm just kidding. I know I did. Sorry, Travis. Yeah, you can listen to the Mean Boys 9/11 Spectacular with Steve Ranazizi. And we closed with the very first ever 9/11 carol. Just have yourself a merry 9/11.
That's great.
Yeah, go listen to Mean Boys, all that shit. We're on the Patreon too, So if you're already giving, if you feel like Adam Todd Brown has fattened his wallet too much, just keep giving to him. He's good. He actually does shit with the money.
It'll trickle down to Connor. That's how economics work.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. So we should get the fuck out of here. We're
All
gonna.
right.
If you're watching the live stream, we're gonna record another episode in a couple minutes. So
Stay tuned.
hang tight if you want to learn all there is to know about chemtrails. Yeah, let's get the fuck out of here. Connor, say goodbye.
Return of the fucking frogs, gay.
Goodbye, everybody. We love you.